Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the one who bestows his mercy upon everybody, the most merciful, the one who gives his mercy to the believers, those who believe in him, and save them from the hellfire. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Okay? The next ayah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alhamd. Right? Alhamd means all praise, all thanks, all appreciation, all gratitude. Right? Alhamd. Right? Alhamdu lillahi. Right? All praise, all thanks, all gratitude, all appreciation is due to Allah. Right? So to thank, to appreciate, right? To give respect for, right? And understanding, right? This hamd, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you everything. We say alhamd because what? Because Allah gave me eyesight. We say alhamd because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me to hear. We say alhamd because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us to come to Islam. We say alhamd because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us health. We say alhamd because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me strength. We say alhamd, right? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me intelligence. Allah gave me the ability to read and write. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the ability to walk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the ability to drive. He gives us falus. He gives us money. All of the things that we can think of, alhamd. Everything that you have, alhamd. Right? Alhamdulillah. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So we say alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. All praise and thanks, appreciation is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything that He does. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. The next part, Rabbil Alameen. Rabb means Lord. Right? Rabbil Alameen. And this goes into the understanding, the aspect of Tauheed. Okay? So we're discussing the first part of Sooratul-Faatiha, because remember, Fatiha is divided into two parts. The first part, we're discussing Allah, His names and His attributes, the things that He's telling us about. The second part is about the Abd. So he said, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. He is the Rabb. Rabb. Bil Alameen. Right? Rabb means Lord. Right? Lord. Cherisher. Fashioner. Sustainer. The decreer. The one who wills things. He is the Rabb, the Lord. Right? And this goes into one of the aspects of Tauheed, Tauheed Rububiyyah. Tauheed Rububiyyah, right? The understanding, the oneness of Allah's lordship, meaning that Allah is the sustainer, the fashioner, the controller, right? The willer of all things. Anything that you can think of, He is the Lord, He is the creator, He is the fashioner of those things. While He Himself was not created. Rabbil Alameen. And the word Alameen, it depicts anything that we have knowledge of. Anything that you can think of. So it's not just Lord of all the worlds, it's everything that we can think of, right? And everything that we can't think of, He is the Lord and the fashioner and sustainer of all of that. Anything you can think of, He is the Lord of that. Anything that you can comprehend, He is the Lord of that. Rabbil Alameen. Alhamd, all praise, all thanks, all appreciation, right? All gratitude is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who created and fashioned everything that I can think about. Everything that I can comprehend, everything that I can't comprehend, the molecules, right? The protons, the atoms, how Allah made the birds, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the fish, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the plants, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the seeds split. He is Rabbil Alameen. He is the Lord, the fashioner, the creator, the sustainer, the designer of all of these things that you can think of. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All right? So Allah begins, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Then again he follows it up with again, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. So again, after stating that He is Ar-Rahman, He is the Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, that He is the sustainer and the fashion of all things that exist, again he follows it up again with Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Again, showing that He's merciful, because He's the one that created and designed everything that you can think of, right? Even the clothes that you got on, right? The threads and all of the molecules or the ingredients that go into making the thread, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created that too. We wouldn't have none of these things. The couches, the way that the light comes on, right? The plaster, the cement, the carpet, the wood, the trees, the TV, the electricity, right? He's Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the most merciful, the most merciful, right? So he's still telling us about himself. Okay, now Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, again, this goes into Tauheed as well, because we have Tauheed al-Asma wa Sifat, which means the oneness of Allah's names and attributes. So these are two of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. We have to believe in these names and attributes. You have to believe that He is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. You have to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most merciful. Right? In Sooratul-An'am, Allah states in 2 ayats. Sooratul-An'am, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kataba ala nafsihi rahmah. Kataba ala nafsihi rahmah. It says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written or made it mandatory and decreed upon His nafs rahmah. Right? Allah has made it wajib and incumbent upon Himself. He has made it wajib and incumbent upon Himself to be merciful. He has decreed it and made it written. Kataba ala nafsihi rahmah. Right? Upon His nafs, upon His own self, to be merciful. Right? He is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. We have another hadith where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the rahmah, He created mercy, and divided it into 100 parts. Understand this. He is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. He is the possessor of all mercy. Right? He said He created the rahmah, and He divided it into 100 parts. He took one part of those 100 parts and gave it to mankind, to where you see the deer or the goats or whatever it may be, the rabbits, and they show compassion to their young, but they don't step on it. This is from the rahmah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed. The arham, the womb of the mother. This is a part of the mercy. The rahmah, where the mother, she doesn't care if her son is the most wickedest child on earth. She still has mercy and compassion for that child, right? Because it came from her womb, right? The name for the womb is arham, comes from the word rahmah, which means mercy. There's nobody more merciful than a parent or a mother towards her child. She don't care. He's the best thing in her eyes. He's going to show mercy. She's going to love. She's going to do this, whatnot. That's mercy. Okay? And we have another hadith where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that over the throne of Allah, what does it say? It says, my mercy is over my wrath. My mercy is over my wrath. This is one of the names of Allah. He is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. He is the most merciful. There is no mercy like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in another hadith, he who does not show mercy on earth will not be given it from Him who's in heaven. Mercy. So the way that you want mercy to be given to you, that's how you have to give it. Right? Judge not unless you be judged by the way that you judge. You want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be merciful towards you, then you'll be merciful toward others. Okay? This is mercy. This is one of the names of Allah's attributes, mercy. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, after saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, then again He follows it up again, but Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, He says what? Maliki Yawmiddin. So we have Maliki Yawmiddin. Alright? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He is the Malik, He is the King, He is the Malik, He is the authority. Right? Of what? Of the Yawmiddin. Right? The day of Deen, right? The Yawm ad-Din, Yawm means day, right? Day, Yawm, Yawm ad-Din, the day of Deen, okay? And we're putting emphasis on this word Deen, right? He is the king, He is the master, He is the authority of the day of Deen. This is another day or another name of the day of judgment. Most translations, it says master of the day of judgment. I'll put D of J. Day of judgment. Yawm ad-Din. He's Maliki Yawm ad-Din. He is the king. He is the authority of the day of judgment. Right? When everybody will stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the king that day. Nobody will be able to speak. Nobody will be able to talk. Right? Nobody will even be able to raise their eyes except by His will. He said not even the angels will be able to speak that day. Right? He is the king and the authority on that day. He said He'll make everybody shut up. And when everybody is killed, after the first and the second blown of the trumpet, and everyone dies, He will say, who is King of kings, Lord of lords? Is there any other king, any other God other than me? It will be Him all alone. He's the Malik, he's the king on that day. He's in control that day. He is the one that decides who goes to heaven and hell. He is the judge on that day. Right? He is the Maliki Yawm Al-Din. What is the day of judgment? It is the day that you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you pay him back, right? Your deen. Allah said, this day I have chosen for you Islam, right? As your deen. I have chosen for you Islam as your deen. This is in chapter 5, verse 3. Right? Deen. Allah used the word deen. Right? Chapter 5, verse 3. In this day I have chosen for you Islam as your deen. Chapter 3, verse 85. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and if they come to me with any other deen other than Islam, it will never be accepted. Right? Now we say he is Maliki Yawm Al-Din. He is the day. This is the king of the day of deen. Right? The word deen has the same root word as the word dain, which means transaction or debt, right? So it's the day of transaction. It is the day that you pay back your debt to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But on the day of judgment, you don't pay Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with no money, right? You don't pay him with no property. You don't pay him with no car, right? This is the day of deen. You pay back Islam. You pay back Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with what? Your Islam. You pay back Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your obedience and your submission. How did you submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So this is the day that you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he judges you and weighs you based on how you submitted to the will and commandment of him. Based on how you submitted to his laws and commandments. This is the day of judgment. This is the day of deen. This is what you pay back to him. There's a hadith where the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, as long as you give me my 5, right? As long as you give me my 5, right? I'll give you water. I'll give you drink. Right? Those who do not worship other than me, I will guarantee you paradise. And I will save you from the hellfire. Right? I give you this. This is what I need for you to give me. I give you life. I give you water. I give you drink. I give you sustenance. All I want you to do, don't worship nobody except me. All I want you to do is be obedient to me. On the day of judgment, I'm going to ask for that back. What am I ask back? I'm going to ask back your obedience. What was your obedience like? Let me look at your obedience card. Let me look at your paperwork. Let me see how you got down. Let me see how you passed your test or you failed your test in this life. Because now it's Yawm Al-Din. This is the day of deen. This is the day that you pay back what? Your transaction and your debt. What's your debt? Your submission. He is the Maliki Yawm Al-Din. He is the king and authority on the day that you stand, right? You stand on your scale. Right? Allah said, those whose scale is light, they'll be in the hellfire. Those whose scale is heavy, they'll be in the Jannah. How do you get a heavy scale? Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu akbar, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. You get weight on the scale with good deeds. One of the heaviest things on the scale, right? We have a hadith of Musa alayhi salam. When Musa alayhi salam asked Allah, oh Allah, teach me something that nobody else before has said before me that has great benefit. He said, say La ilaha illallah. Musa alayhi salam, he said, but everybody says La ilaha illallah. He said, for surely, if you were to put La ilaha illallah on one side of the scale, and you put all the sins of mankind, all the 7 earths and all the 7 heavens on one side of the scale, La ilaha illallah will outweigh all of that. As long as you come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with La ilaha illallah sincerely, it will outweigh everything, outweigh all sins. It will outweigh the heavens and the earth. Right? La ilaha illallah. That's how you get heavy on the scale. Die with La ilaha illallah in your heart. And when you die with it in your heart, it means that you die with a conviction that you believe in it. You live in it. You live in La ilaha illallah. You live in that. I believe that there is no God but Allah. And all the things that come with that. Obedience, submission, following his laws, his commandments, being of those who are humble. All of that goes into La ilaha illallah. So he is Maliki Yawm Al-Din. So what is the day of judgment? The day that you stand before Allah. The day that you will be weighed. The day that Allah is supposed to see what your scale is like. Right? What makes your scale heavy? Your submission. Your dhikr. Your obedience. Your salat. Right? That which makes your scale light, disobedience and sin. So it's the day that we pay back our debt. So when we say Maliki Yawm Al-Din, we say this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is Maliki Yawm Al-Din. He's the one that when we got on the day of judgment, when the trumpet is blown and we're raised out of our graves, that we got to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who kept Angels on the side of us at all times, writing down everything that we did. He said, I don't miss nothing because I have katibin. I have katibin. I have those who write things down, everything that you do. And your book will be laid out before you. And Allah said, not what somebody else tell against you. He said, I'm going to make you tell against yourself. I'm going to make you read your own book. And then if you don't want to read, he said, he'll close up your mouth. He'll zip up your mouth and make your eyes and your hands and your feet speak against you. To the point you're like, what is you doing, man? You telling against us. Allah will make the hands and the feet speak against you and tell on yourself. This is Malik Yawm al-Din, so we understand that he is Malik Yawm al-Din. He's the one that's going to determine whether we're going to heaven or hell. He's the one that's going to, question us in front of everybody, butt naked. This is what you did. And in his hand is the determining factor whether you live or you die, whether you're wretched or blessed. So when you understand that, then you move accordingly. Man, I got to make sure that I please this one. I please the one that's in control of me going to heaven and hell. Because I have to stand before him on Yawm al-Din. On the day that I pay back my deen, I pay back my debt, I pay back my Islam, I got to make sure I'm cool and I'm correct when I get to that day. Malik Yawm al-Din. Who is he? He's Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Who is he? He's Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, the one that created everything. He's Malik Yawm al-Din. Right? So again, he's telling you his names and his attributes. He's telling you about himself. This is the reality. This is the first half. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about himself. The only way that we have knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the knowledge that he gives us. He says he is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Sooratul-Faatiha, which is the opening of the Quran, or the opening of the understanding of what this is all about. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, or what's the name of Allah? The most merciful, the one who is the most merciful to all of mankind, whether they're good and bad. And he is the most merciful to the believers, those who say La ilaha illallah, Muhammadan Rasulullah, to save them from the fire and enter them into the Jannah. Alhamdulillah. Right? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise, all thanks, all appreciation, all gratitude is due to who? Him, Allah, the creator of all things. Rabbil Alameen. He's the fashioner, the sustainer, the creator, the designer of everything that we can think about. Then Allah continues, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Again, showing you again after this and that, and showing you this and that. He again repeats it again. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. So just contemplating on Rabbil Alameen. Dang, the fashion of the sustain. Everything that I could think of, the cat, the rat, the dog. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. He is the Lord of the fashion of that. So therefore, after understanding that or try to comprehend that, he again follows it up with Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Again, showing how merciful he is. Then he says he is Malik Yawm al-Din, right? Then he said that he is the king, the authority of the day that you stand, right? And pay back your debt. You pay back your transaction, right? You pay back your submission. Malik Yawm al-Din. So this is the first half.